The way that you heal the world is by healing yourself. For you are a microcosm of the macrocosm of the world. I've been pondering and receiving information about the presence of deceit and evil in our realm, and how to confront that, how to renounce it, how to heal it. There are so many things in this world to be angry about, to call an injustice, to call an imbalance, to call misplaced, misaligned, rooted in falsehood. And these things exist within the world, and a lot of them appear to be beyond our control. So we find ourselves surrounded by these concrete walls, these black iron prison bars, as Philip K. Dick might call them. And we try to shake them and break them open and break them down, but they do not budge. Sometimes shaking them up and taking a sledgehammer, a Nietzschean sledgehammer to them, suffices in breaking them down and dissolving them to ashes with the flame of the human spirit, which is invanquishable, untamable, and infinite. But when we find ourselves in eras and in times and paradigms where so many people are believing in concretions of mind, which are rooted in illusion and falsity, and they are choosing that, and they're choosing in turn their own zombification, their own surrender of sovereignty. If such people do not wish to change, if such people are committed to their ignorance and their delusion, there are very few things that one can do to change their course of action, change their course of reality creation. A believer in God can try and try and try to rationally debate an atheist, or vice versa, and they are going to get nowhere. They're going to be caught in a Chinese finger trap. That's just one example of many. The point I'm trying to get at here is, if you wish to see change in the world, if you want to see more divine alignment, if you want to see more freedom, if you want to see a renunciation of falsity, deceit, ignorance, evil, what you have to do is face those elements within yourself wherein you are complicit in the creation and the co-creation of such a world. we all have elements of our lives which, either of survivalistic necessity or of inheritances of programmatic behavior, we have our ways in which we reinforce the very concrete, the black iron prison bars, which keep our spirits and our souls confined, which keep us complicit in creating the very world which, when we look out into the world and we critique and judge that about the world and say, this is out of place, this is false, this is imbalanced, this is unacceptable. And then hypocritically, we do the very behaviors that feed that system ourselves. This is the banality of evil. This is the unconscious proliferation of evil. And this is the predicament of humanity, in the balance between the profundity of its own fall and its desire to ascend. And not solely a desire, but a deep, heartfelt yearning and longing of burning passion, which itself is the flame of the eternal human spirit, which cannot be tamed. Parenthetically, I just wish to invoke Frederick Douglass. If you read his story, you read the story of a slave, quote unquote, who believed so deeply in his freedom and who believed so deeply in God and in his immortal spirit and soul that, in spite of all the material ways in which life told him, no, you are a slave, you belong to another human being, he fought his way to freedom, and he carried the torch of humanity's spirit forward. Close parenthesis. There are so many ways in which this world will try to convince you that you are a slave, will try to break you down into the belief that you must surrender to systems of falsity, renounce your control, renounce your responsibility, and give the control to something else. A machine, a government, a system of control, a system of perhaps cybernetic means of information manipulation. Manipulation can be one that can be of the kind that is externally imposed upon you, or it can be a reclamation of your own hands, a reclamation of your own sovereignty. To see the ways in which the world appears to be false, deceitful, enslaving, ignorant, and to simply choose with your sovereign will, with the infinite sovereignty of your will, rooted in the infinite protection of God and of Goddess, and to choose the path of reclamation, to witness in your body, in your consciousness, in your conscious experience of reality, the ways in which you yourself are complicit in the co-creation of that world, and to renounce decisively those ways and behaviors in which you are attached. But you first have to look and to take accountability and to stop pointing fingers and blaming this or that or others and say like, oh, well, everyone else is doing this, so I have to do it too. Everyone else is living in this way. Everyone else is caught up in delusions and falsity. And so it's hopeless. If you choose to believe that, if you choose to believe that it is hopeless, then it will be. And that will be the reality which you co-create. And every numbing pattern which you embody within your field will ripple out. And we're going to be living in a world where everyone's numbing themselves. In whatever way it might be. Everyone has their ways until they don't. And all I'm doing right now is inviting you and myself to be one of the ones who does not, who stops consenting to this banality of evil, to this quasi-innate complicity in the creation of a false reality. For when you devote yourself and dedicate yourself to absolute union with God and Goddess, with all that is divine and true and aligned with the freedom of your heart and soul, and you wholeheartedly align your will with those actions, and you sacrifice the behaviors which weigh your soul down and which confine you and the world within which you live, you perform the universal alchemy of human liberation within your microcosm, which then ripples out energetically and physically in every single layer of reality into the macrocosm of the human experience, of the ecological earthly experience, of the spiritual experience, of the multidimensional experience of being. Your choice, your sovereign will, aligned with God and Goddess and all instantiations of divinity, literally has the power to alter and heal evil, falsity, deceit, illusion. All the forms of being that are currently inhabiting our reality, which are not truly acceptable in face of our hearts and souls, whose innate yearnings are for peace and truth and goodness and dignity. How deeply your world will reflect that freedom and that truth and that divinity back to you will be a direct corollary of how devoted you are within yourself to these divine attributes of your being. So take a look at your life. Take a serious look, and you've probably already taken this look. If you're anything like me, you know the habits and the patterns and the programming that are clinging to you, begging to hold on, begging to keep you complicit in the co-creation of a false world. And you have to choose to renounce those things within yourself. You don't have to. But if you want the liberation of humanity's divine attributes, It's not by staying where you are and then asking others to be the change. You have to be the change within yourself. And you have to choose that change within yourself. And you have to choose to unchain yourself. And every chain that you rip away from your being, every concrete wall which you smash with your Nietzschean hammer, every prison bar which you vaporize with the fire of your soul, will be a chain, a concretion, a prison bar which you lift from the heart of humanity. Which itself is the great work. In your hands, in my hands, in your heart, in my heart, in your soul, in your body, in your being, in your life. All I'm saying is you can choose that. That choice is available to you. And it's very likely why you came here. So if you don't already know the behaviors that are weighing you down, take a moment to ponder it, to feel it, to take note of the behaviors. Look in the mirror and see what parts of you need to go. And then replace those things with behaviors that uplift your soul, that make you feel connected to God, that make you feel connected to the natural way of the earth, that make you feel connected to divinity. It's not easy, but it's simple. And all it takes is a continuous devotion to willful choice. So, the choice for your life is in your hands. And I'm just here to remind you of that you may remember it inside your body, in your heart. I wish you blessings in your self-discoveries, in your renunciations, in your reclamations. Yeah. Bye-bye. Let's create a more magnificent and magical